Okay, so in the previous assignment, we took a look at creating a web page using HTML code. And HTML code is great. However, in this latest iteration, a lot of things that we used to do using HTML code uh, are now starting to bend towards using another method, cascading style sheets, for certain formatting functions and other kinds of functions. So today we're going to take a look at doing a lot of the similar kind of formatting that we previously had done with HTML, except this time we're going to use CSS instead. Okay, so I've got a page to start us out with, a page called HTML Starter. If I open that up, we actually see that it's just a very generic web page. We've got a headline. Well, actually, we've got a title up here in the tab. So we got a title, a headline, horizontal rule. We got an image. We got several paragraphs of text. We've got an unnumbered list, and we've got a couple of links. And so it's just a very basic page. Let's take a minute and look at the code of that page. So here in Notepad, it's actually Notepad++. I've got the HTML code that represents that page, and a lot of this should be familiar to you. So we start with HTML tag, and then we have the head section, and within the head section we have the title, and then that's followed by a body section, and the body section includes a headline of type H1, heading size 1. We got an HR tag for a horizontal rule, that's the line that goes across the top of the page. It's a self-closing tag because there is no /HR end tag to accompany it. We've got a BR tag, which is a line break. So this tag is self-closing, and all it does is advance the line to the next line. We've got an image tag with attributes for the source file and for the alt text, which would appear in case the image was missing or if the screen was being read by a screen reader software. And then we've got a paragraph, opening P, the text, and a closing P. And that represents a paragraph, and we have several of those, opening, text, closing, throughout the page. And then finally here at the end, we've got a small paragraph that is just the heading 3 cheeses, followed by an unnumbered list. So we got a UL, and then a list item, and then a closing list item, and an opening list item, and a closing list item, and then finally a closing UL to end the list. The very bottom of the page here, we've got a hyperlink. So A is an anchor, and then the attribute is href, hyperreference, which equals, and then here's the URL of a web page. And then that is followed by some text to appear on the page, and then the closing A. So this closing A closes that anchor tag right there. All right, so that's a hyperlink, and then we've got a line break, and then we've got another hyperlink, and this particular hyperlink is a mail to link, so it would initiate an email. All right, so after that, we close the body section and we close the HTML. So it's a very basic page. What you do not see in this code is you do not see things like bold, italic, underline, color, alignment, things that would affect the look and the feel of the page beyond the basic structure. All right, a lot of those things we did in the previous assignment using tags like B for bold, U for underline, I for italic. Color we affected using background color and font color, a variety of things. So we're going to do those things now, but we're going to do them using style rather than HTML. All right, so let's start with the body. So right here we have our opening body tag, and if you recall, anything that falls after the body tag is meant to be content that appears on the page, with the exception, of course, of the tags which affect formatting. In the past assignment, we did a tag like BG color equals, let's say, yellow. So that would represent an attribute, background color, with a value of yellow. And that's a valid way of doing it. However, the new way of doing it is using style sheets. And so with style sheets, instead of using the BG color attribute, you use the attribute style. And the value for style is actually got two parts. So we would have background dash color colon yellow. Okay, and so to just dissect this a moment, style is now the attribute, and then the attribute has this portion right here preceding the colon. This is called the property. So this is the property of the style, and it's the style of the body section. And then this part is still called the value. So the value tells you specifically what the background color is going to be, and the background color tells you what the property is that affects the style, and the style tells you that you're changing the properties of the characteristics of the body. It all works together. So this is the new format, and there's actually multiple ways, 3 different ways to implement styles. This one is called an inline style because the style is happening at the incident of the code within the document, as opposed to in the header or in an external style sheet. All right, so we're going to take a look at various ways to do things. And by the way, we should take a quick look at the effect of that style. So I'll hit save, and then I'm going to bring up the page and refresh it, and you can see that the background is yellow. All right, so I'm going to run through a few of these, and then I'll probably break so that the video doesn't get too long. Let's do some changes to our paragraphs. So for this paragraph right here, we'll make this paragraph bold. The way you would do that is, again, style equals, and the property that we want to affect here is called font weight, font-weight, bold. All right, so we can save that. We can refresh our page, and if we scroll down, you can see that this first paragraph is bold. All right, so we change that using the font weight attribute instead of B for bold. And you might say, that's pretty extreme. I mean, in terms of a B tag is a lot easier to do than a font weight bold is, and that's true. However, to use it as an attribute this way, when we get into declaring styles in the head section or an external style sheet, this starts to make a lot more sense because it modifies the entire tag. In this case, it's only one instance, so it seems excessive, and you could argue that it is, but we got to learn somewhere here. So let's move on to the next paragraph. This time we'll do style equals font style, and this font style will be italic. Okay, so you got to kind of remember, font weight refers to bold, font style refers to italic or oblique or something like that. And so we can bring up our page and refresh. Now you see that this paragraph is italic. All right. Can you use them both at the same time? Thanks for asking. Why, yes, you can. So, for instance, in this paragraph right here, we'll do style equals font weight bold, and then if you're going to use more than one in the same style declaration, then you do semicolon, and without a space, you would do font style italic. Okay, and then a semicolon. Even it looks like here like the semicolon might be a separator, and it is. But whenever you have more than one style declaration in a single attribute, then each one of them needs to end in a semicolon. So we can save that. And so this third paragraph is bold and italic. Go here and refresh, and you can see this one is both bold and italic. All right. You know what? While we're at it, let's go into this code, and let's go ahead and add color here as well. So the way you would do the color is you would do pretty simple, really. It's just color, and then whatever color you want it to be. So I don't know, let's make this green. Refresh. So now the sentence is also green. Okay, the nice thing about that particular item right here is that it's not relevant to only text. You can make a box green, you can make a line green, you could make a border green. So that's pretty handy. All right, what else do we want to know? Since we're on the topic of text, let's go to this paragraph, and we'll make this one a new kind of style called font decoration. Spell it right. decoration, font decoration colon underline. And so we can save that, and you can see that, oh, it didn't work. Did something wrong. Let's figure out what we did wrong here. Font decoration. Oh, because it's not called font decoration, it's called text decoration. Gotta watch me, I'll mess things up for you. Alright, and then we can bring this up and refresh, and I can see that that line is underlined. So let's pop back in here to the code, and in the code, let's add size. So for size, you would say font size. Oops, shouldn't be a space there. Font size is the property, and then the value we could do like 8 px for pixel. There are different kinds of values that you could put in there. So now you can see this line get really tiny because it's 8 pixels. There's different kinds of values you could put in there. There's pixels, there's points. Let's see if this changes anything. I think it's roughly equivalent, so we probably won't see any real change affected. Might have been a little bit bigger. So there's pixels, there's points, there's M. So M as an EM, the word M representing the letter M. You have what's called M spaces, which refers to a size of a capital letter M. And so you can use that as a value that you measure against. You can also do percentages. So whatever the standard font size is for the paragraph, you could do 120% or 300%, and that would increase the size in proportion to that percentage. So there's all kinds of different values you could put in here. Let me show you the percent just because it's kind of interesting. So let's do 150%. All right, so this particular piece of text there, of course, is larger now. It's 150%. I happen to not like that, so I'm gonna alter it. Let's do 75%. Save. Refresh. And you can still tell it's smaller, so that's good. All right, so let's see. We did bold, italic, underline, size, and color. One thing about text that we have not yet altered is the font, the text. Okay, so you'll notice in this particular browser, my text by default is a serif font. So something like Times New Roman is what we're getting here. Different browsers can sometimes default to different things, but this particular one, which is Chrome, is defaulting to serif. So one thing you can do here is you can change the font family. So style equals font family. And what's interesting about font family is that it's meant to be a family as opposed to a specific font. You can specify something like Arial, right? But when you do that, you're taking a risk because you don't know for sure that the computer that is viewing this web page has the font Arial installed. Now Arial is highly likely that they do, but if you're using some kind of fancy font, they might not. So it's not bad. It's not bad practice to put in a generic term like sans serif. So sans serif means without feet, and it's a generic term for fonts that are like headline fonts that don't have serifs. They have things like Arial and Helvetica, things that are typically headline type fonts. So I'm going to save this, and then something tells me I got the syntax wrong. So did it work? It did not work, and that's because I got the syntax wrong. So I'm going to have to check on that real quick. Let me think. You know what I'm going to do just to make this go quicker is I'm just going to take that part off and specify Arial, because I do happen to know that I have Arial installed. All right, so you see that this one switched to Arial. All right, in a later video, I'll come back and I'll pick up how to do this properly, because I did not do it properly there when I added sans serif in. And that is a thing you should do. I think it might just be a comma. But again, I might be misspelling this. So that might be the issue. And I don't want to bore you here all day long. So and I don't know if it worked or not, so let's pretend it did. Okay, good. All right, let's see. There are a few more things that I want to do. I'm getting sensitive of the time of the video, however, so I'm going to break here, and I'm going to continue on the next video.